Hi everyone! Today we're going to be learning our T-Hiragana and our D-Hiragana. Our first hiragana is ta, ta. To write this hiragana, we start out with a slightly curved line going from left to right. Then we have a slanted vertical line that comes from top to bottom and right to left and intersects with our first line. And our next two strokes are very similar to writing the hiragana ko. We start out to the right of our first two strokes. We draw a horizontal line that goes from left to right and that curls around just a little bit. And then underneath that, we make a longer curved stroke that goes from left to right. Chi, chi. For this one, we start with a horizontal line that curves down at the middle and goes from left to right. Our next stroke starts at the top, comes down and intersects with our first stroke, and then we stop and come out to the right and curve all the way back around. Tsu, tsu. And this hiragana is just one stroke. We start on our left side, we go from left to right, and then we come down and curve back around until we're about halfway through our first stroke. Te, te. And this is also just one stroke. We start out going horizontally and slightly up from left to right. Then we stop and we curve back around and out to the right. Our last T hiragana is to, to. We start out with a diagonal line going from top to bottom and left to right. Our next stroke starts at the right, curves around and connects with our first stroke, and then curves back out to the right. Now we have our D hiragana, and just like with our previous groups of hiragana, these are formed by taking our T hiragana and adding a dakuten or nigori at the upper right. Our first hiragana is da, da. Ji, ji. Zu, zu. Now you may have noticed that both of these hiragana are pronounced ji, and that both of these hiragana are pronounced zu. In the past, the top two hiragana and the bottom two hiragana used to have a much more differentiated pronunciation from each other, but as time went on, their pronunciations merged closer and closer together, and now they're basically the same. Don't worry about these too much, though. In my experience, ji and zu from the Z hiragana are used much more frequently than ji and zu from the D hiragana. De, de. Do, do. And now it's time to practice using the hiragana we've learned to spell some Japanese words. Our first word is tsuki, which means moon. Tsuki. And to spell this, we use tsu and ki. Tsuki. KEITAI, and this word means cell phone. KEITAI. 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 CHIISAI, which means small. CHIISAI. 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 Tokidoki, sometimes. Tokidoki. To, ki, do, and ki. Tokidoki. Dekigoto, event. Dekigoto. De, DEKIGOTO. DEKIGOTO. And that's the end of this lesson. As always, if you need to practice your hiragana, feel free to use the link in the description to get some hiragana writing practice sheets. Ja, mata.